Hey there, welcome in, welcome back. Welcome to Stream of Unconsciousnness, where the subject's made up and the words don't matter. Thank you for joining today. Today we have another little look at my extremely limited G.I. Joe collection. Like I said, I don't go out of my way a lot to add to the collection, but I've gotten some recently that I was actually pretty fond of as I hit the camera. I know I should have adjusted all this before, and I tried so hard. I did. I tried so hard. Anyway, so I've added a few new G.I. Joes, and I say new, like new to me and, newer G.I. Joes to my collection. As you know, I didn't originally have Xandar or Zarana, and I've added recently Stalker and Lady J to my collection, which is pitiful compared to other people's G.I. Joe collections, but I like it. So they go with some of the older, more classic ones. I do, like I said, I do have some of the classic figures, even though for the majority of them, I think I have a small handful that were ones that I had originally owned. But in looking through some various websites that I have a tendency to keep an eye on, I noticed that there's a lot of stuff out there. There's a lot of stuff that Hasbro's been releasing. Clearly, a lot of stuff that Super 7's been releasing. And while I appreciate the effort that they're taking to do a new version of the classic O-ring figures, they haven't really caught my attention per se. I would be more inclined to try and find the older ones that I never had and kind of wanted back in the day from the original releases. But I did notice, like I said, I recently, within the last, say, 6 months, picked up a Zarana, because I'd never had that one, and I liked her and her brother, Xandar, and, she was used, loose figure, still pretty tight joints. The only problem that she did have, aside from missing her accoutrement, as it were, was a very, very badly repaired O-ring, which I replaced, and she is very, very cool. Just needs a weapon or two, and I've got some weapon packs I showed off recently. They came with Lady J and the Baroness that I think I'll probably grab a weapon or two out of there for her until I can get some replacement weapons for her that are more like what she had. But I've always liked the figure, and I happened to run across HIYA Toys actually does G.I. Joe figures. And interestingly, because of the license agreements with Hasbro and the fact that Super 7 has it pretty tied up on this side of the pond, HIYA cannot send those to a U.S. address. So you can't actually order them and have them shipped here. You have to go through a third party if you are interested in them. And I found one I was interested in that I thought I really should get a hold of. There's a couple that I was eyeing, but this one just really caught my eye, and that is a 1/18 scale Zarana from HIYA Toys. And I realize it's difficult to see with the giant ring making the plastic shine like that, but as you can see, she's got a pair of separate hands, a couple of weapons that are not already on her person, and an extra head. I know that Hasbro's been releasing the 6-inch Joes, and I forget what the series is called, because I don't collect it, and that's why, because I don't collect it. But it wasn't a scale I was interested in, even though the sculpts look really, really nice. So I thought I saw this on the HIYA Toys website, and I was like, ooh, that's really cool. Where can I get that? And they said, oh, we're sorry, you can't. So I had to pull some eBay shenanigans to get this sent to me. This is actually a pretty new release. I don't think it's even listed on their website anymore at the moment. So we're going to go ahead and, again, open this because I like to display them on my shelf, and I'm not a on-card collector. So again, I will be opening this off screen because I enjoy having fingers, and I have a tendency to honestly wound myself more often than not when I'm doing my sculpting anyway, so probably best to keep the wounds to a minimum, as it were. Now, as has become standard to me in buying the number of HIYA Toys that I have bought for myself recently, because I collect their Star Trek ones, so I don't have like the Spock from the Kelvin universe, which I just realized today. The old Spock. I'll have to look into that. Anyway, 2 trays. The bottom tray contains the base and the H tabs, which I just realized again looking at their logo, as in one of my last videos I said, oh, H connectors or I connectors, however you feel, but actually if you look at their logo, it's H connectors. Let's be real here. So the H connectors, which allow you, if you have more than one figure from their company, especially in the same line, you can connect the 2 bases with the H connectors. Now, interestingly, for this one, which is a new thing in my experience in collecting with them, is that the bottom tray has this plastic film over it to protect and hold in the base. Base is actually out of focus. There we go. Base is actually pretty nice. Got some spent shell casings and some other whatnots on there. It looks kind of like a... I'm not sure if they were going for muddy ground or wet broken concrete. Either way, I kind of like the look of it. So there we go. I don't know what that... I honestly don't know what that is. But some broken sort of coppery, brassy... that's more coppery than brassy colored parts. And yeah, I mean, it's serviceable for a base. It does what it's supposed to do. It bases. So then we come to the figure herself, and again has the plate that covers the figure themselves to keep the items from shifting around and getting lost in the package. And then we find out that my fingers are too fat. I'm sorry, that'll be the end of the video, ladies and gentlemen. My fingers are too fat to get in around the figure. No, I'm just kidding. Here we go. Okay, so let's look at the figure. She comes, like I said, she comes with 2 alternate heads. She comes with 1 head on, which is the second version, I believe, of Zarana that was released with the longer hair. That was, depending on which argument you believe online, quote unquote, slightly more feminine. She does not really twist at the waist or the chest, or it's just very stiff, which is always a possibility with these things. They do come with very, very, very tight joints when they first arrive, which is good. And the hand, the same kind of small post with a knob on it that the hands fit in. Interestingly, and I will also show this off in a second. Oh, come on. Come on. Focus, for pity's sake. A little bit of an update to the costume. Not a lot, but a little. In that, she's got a little more detail on there than was probably available to them in the 80s in Hasbro. And very classic joints there for HIYA. That seems like it's liable to pop right off there if we're not careful. Single joint elbow, but it does swivel. Excuse me. The normal... I'm actually starting to really like that hip design. The normal ball joint hip design with the cut thighs. I'm assuming that cut is right. Yeah, the cut is right into her knife sheath there, so to speak. Come on, come on. I'm sorry. My allergies have just decided to start kicking up like crazy. And a knife that's already in a sheath. The vagaries of doing things on camera. Especially when your camera is, you know, a crappy cell phone. Anyway, so back to the... So, very stiff shoulders, which is nice. The head clearly only swivels at the base of the skull. It does not have any kind of neck articulation. Double jointed knees and ankle rockers. I don't think, it does not look like, yeah, it does not look like she has any cut at the top of the boots, but she does have ankle rockers and some nice spurs, which I believe were broken off on the original one that I bought. That was the one other piece of damage. There we go. Is that my original Zarana that I purchased, the spurs are broken off. Now, interestingly, as you see with her hands, they are in sort of open fists, which implies, you know, being able to hold a knife handle kind of thing. In the package, the fists, separate fists that are included, are actually gun holding fists. As you can see, it's got a trigger finger stuck out there, which is interesting. It's actually not bad for, as I've discussed before with the Star Trek versions releases, the replacement hands generally have smaller, the hole in which the peg goes in the arm is smaller and usually needs to be enlarged, such that, you know, you don't rip up or break anything when you're trying to put a new hand on. So she comes with her classic machine gun with the saw blade. His saw blades were very big with the dreadnoughts, excuse me. She does have a backpack that's already on in the package. I'm pretty sure that's removable. Yeah, it's removable. It's a classic Joe. It's a classic Joe thing. And as you can see, excuse me, decent sharp sculpting on the backpack, and the rifle has a hole which just about matches that peg there, doesn't it? There we go. So that you can sling her weapon. Now she does have one other weapon. Let's see if she'll stand here for a second without her actual stand. She will not. She just has one other weapon in the package, which is this honestly vibroblade. I'm not even really sure, but it's clearly got a motor on it, and kind of a trigger kind of thing, but it looks like a knife type blade. I'm going to assume that fits in this slot in the back. Somehow it looks like it's a pretty big. The hole is pretty large, and so this seems like a very small item to stick in that very large hole. No jokes, please. So there's that, and like I said, she also has a replacement head, which is basically the more classically styled haircut. But yeah, I forgot I needed to fix the spurs on her. I saw this, and again, while I wasn't going out of my way to collect G.I. Joes, especially modern G.I. Joes, I saw this one and I was like, she looks great. I need to get that figure. And again, there's some interesting shenanigans that had to be done in order to get my hands on her. But I think she'll be a worthy addition to the collection, and I am not displeased. So that brings us to the end, and we see that we were an idiot and shoved that knife back behind her belt instead of back into the there we go, back into the holster. Thank you for doing that for me, camera. Okay, so there we go. Now we're at the end of the video. We're going to put her on her stand. We're going to get her on a shelf. Let her start collecting dust. I think I'm going to replace one of her hands so she can hold her gun. But yeah, I think she'll look good. She looks good next to the Hasbro attempts. And yeah, I'm going to really enjoy this figure. So if you enjoyed this, leave a like, leave a comment, let me know what you thought. Any questions, comments, concerns? Subscribe if you'd like. This is what I do. I do action figure and toy type reviews of stuff that I like, and I also do videos of things that I have created or painted. So if that's the sort of thing that you enjoy, then feel free to subscribe and check out my back catalog. And we will see you next time.